right, the fourth and final part, Earth. Child of Dust. Okay, it's Thrice.
Thrice.
We're like in the middle of doing it, so to us we're like, we know what we're talking about. Other people are like, Earth, what are you talking about? So we're doing Thrice, and we have done the other three. We did fire, then water, then wind, and now I'm assuming this is definitely going to be Earth. It's called Child of Dust. If you too want to get your song reacted to, the way to do that is to jump on Patreon on the $125 tier, or to go through PayPal. If you've done it with 3 or more times with us, you can just do the $75. That's what AO did. If you are like, that's crazy and I don't need my song that badly, but I would really like to get it on the list, then an alliance is a great option for you. You can jump on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and it helps offset what goes on our channel, because we listen to the song straight through, so YouTube takes all of our, we don't get any money from YouTube because of that, so or the ads, so that kind of offsets that. So that way we still would play the song straight through even if everybody jumped off Patreon tomorrow, because we respect the artist and we really like to hear I want to experience the art as a whole, you know. I don't want to have to see a picture in like 10 different pieces. It's the same with my music. Also, don't forget, you can jump on our socials and ask there. Our live streams, that's our firesides, we call them, but it's our live streams. Anyway, let's go on to doing this Child of Dust, Thrice.
I'm very interested to hear this one.
Dear prodigal, you are my son and I supplies you not your spirit but your shame. All Eden's wealth arrayed before your eyes, I fathom not you wanted to escape. Though
Jeez, that was an encouraging one. This is it's really interesting because most Christians stay away from Gaia imagery. Gaia imagery meaning Mother Earth. You know, the Earth being your mother, which is obviously, you know, dear prodigal, you are my son. Child of dust to mother now return.
Oh.
So, Earth is speaking as our mother here, which most Christians stay away from because that's pagan.
Why do I always see these things so differently than you do?
Well, how did you see it?
At the beginning, we're talking about Adam and Eve, and so child of dust to mother now return. I thought it was, for some reason, I was thinking about where it said uprooted flowers and filled their holes with blood. Mm-hmm. To me, we were talking about like Cain and Abel, and so a child of dust to mother now return. I was thinking that she was wanting Abel to come back to her. But I see what you're saying, where it's dying and going back to the ground. Babe, stop judging me.
I just don't, I mean, we were doing earth. I mean, we did wind, we did fire,
yeah,
we did water.
It was talking about the earth as in, you know, Eden and... I guess. Shut up. Oh, go away from this. What happens when you have a smart husband?
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, sure. But like I said, the Gaia imagery is usually avoided at all costs by Christians.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they're afraid of, being a pagan or something like that. But I think it's one of the most beautiful metaphors that human beings have ever concocted, this idea that the earth is your mother. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's true. Obviously, it's true. I mean, God said in the curse, dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Mm-hmm. So, I don't understand people's fear of the Mother Earth motif. I think it's a beautiful motif. Mm-hmm. And I think if we did have a concept that the earth was our mother, then we would treat it a lot better than we do. Mm-hmm. I was hoping that he was going to talk about how we're destroying the planet and we're harming our own mother, which would have been very provocative. And it's really dealing with the ultimate existential issue, which is life and death. And you've uprooted the flowers and filled their holes with blood. That's a pretty crazy line.
Visual, too.
Because, it's really interesting. There's a command in the Bible to take your plowshares and turn them into swords. Mm-hmm. And then there's a prophecy in the Bible that says the opposite, which is they will turn their swords into plowshares. Mm-hmm. And the plowshares are agricultural, and their spears into pruning hooks. That's the other part that people don't really quote in that passage. But these are instruments of war that are now going to be used as instruments of agriculture and gardening, which points back to our original state.
Yeah, I liked it because one brings death, and one is the instrument by which you encourage life.
Right, and they're earthborn. The target is the earth, whereas your swords and all the rest of it, the target is other people. Mm-hmm. And so it's dealing with the ultimate sort of existential issue, which is life and death, and how people come to die on the earth. Mm-hmm. And what we've done. Interesting line though, you're my son and I supplied you not your spirit but your shape. That's really interesting because it's true. Yep. That it's the elements of the earth that God uses to formulate.
But then God breathes into him the breath of life.
Right, and so you'd have to have the spirit is the pneuma on this one? Silver Wings, yeah. If you looked at Silver Wings is song 6 and Child of Dust is song 13. So, Silver Wings already happened, so you know where the spirit came from. But then Child of Dust is talking about, where our bodies came from in the physical world and things of that nature. And, that's another thing where people, especially Christians, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's in the form of Gnosticism or something, where Christians do not appreciate the earth and our connection to it. And, I remember being a kid and putting my hands in the dirt and then loving the feeling of the dirt under my fingernails. My mom used to hate that. Go and wash your hand, Vincent, before you come to eat with your dirty hand.
Yeah.
You know, like, basically, go wash your hands. You got dirty hands. But I just
So
love
funny.
that.
I used to do the same thing.
I
It's
just
so
love
weird.
that feel of it, and you know, I didn't know what was happening, but you know, the earth is our mother. I mean, it's one of those things where if you could really, you know, walk barefoot on the grass or dig your hands into the soil. I remember we were working on your garden. That was just such a crazy feeling to be in a garden and, you know, manipulate the earth in such a way as to, you know, 4 months from now, this is going to produce all this crazy. It was
and
just
to pick the beans from there and eat it.
that you did. It's a crazy
different.
feeling. It really does. It really does. And then you really have a sense of, you know, of connectedness that I think is missing and again, for whatever reason, people are afraid of celebrating the earth too much in Christianity because it's too close to paganism. But I don't think that the pagans have the wrong idea in their love of the earth. Now, obviously, you know, I don't worship the earth. I don't worship the trees. I worship the person who made the trees and the earth. But you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater and say, "Oh, they took it too far." So everything,
agree.
like, we got a lot to learn from pagans, and that's another, you know, philosophically, I think is you know, I'm on a you know, probably on an island by myself, but I don't believe that any of the majors, when I talk about majors, major religions, major philosophies or whatever, I don't believe that they're like 60 trillion miles away from the truth. I think that there's a vast proximity to the truth that we believe, that's just taken a step too far, or maybe a degree to the left that it shouldn't, or a degree to the right, or whatever. But when you completely just wholesale, you know, get rid of it and say it's all horrible and it's all from the devil, then you miss out on a lot. And I think that God has located a lot of truth that we have forgotten in these people. And wouldn't you know it, if we'd actually sit down and talk to each other, you know, we would be able to.
Can't do it.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do it, because the Sanhedrin said that everything about pagan.
Yeah.
I was watching something where they were like talking about like the end times, the end of the world, and one of them was, and people love nature, and the guy was saying there's all this ominous music about people loving nature and all this.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, those damn people loving nature and shit. How dare they love nature? Good night. Safe beneath their wisdom in their feet, here I will teach you truly how to sleep. And that's it.
That's when you die and you get buried.
Yeah, you're underground.
I did get that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What was that noise at the end? I couldn't figure out what was going on.
I think it was just spades and shovels putting dirt over the person's death box.
Oh,
as it is.
That's terrifying. And
I mean, it's the way of all. It's the way of all flesh.
yes, I know.
So in the Old Testament, when people were dying, Isaac? He says, "I am about to go the way of all flesh."
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's you gotta accept it, especially if you're a certain type of person in America. You're gonna die. All right, what do you give the song?
This is not a churchy sound to it.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay.
9.1.
Oh, right, exactly where I was. 9.1 for sure. 9.1. There you go.
Thanks,
I feel like I'm in the mood. Do we have any corn left?
I don't know how much you ate last night.
I only ate 2.
Then I think that was the rest. I think you bought 4 pieces.
Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.
Me and the baby split too.
Figures.
Dear prodigal, you are my son, and I supplied you not your spirit but your shame. All Eden's wealth arrayed before your eyes. I fathom not you wanted to escape. Dear prodigal, you are my son and I supplied you not your spirit but your shame. All Eden's wealth arrayed before your eyes. I fathom not you wanted to escape. And though I only ever gave you love, like every child you've chosen to rebel, uprooted flowers and fell the holes with blood. Ask not for whom they toll the solemn bells. A child of dust to mother now return. For every seed must die before it grows. And though above the world may toil and turn, no prying space